The business of motivational speaking and offering life coaching services to businesses and entrepreneurs, it is a form of business that's gaining traction. And tonight we're going to be finding out why. Now, a lot of you guys out there, or some of you guys may know about Leadership 2020, a company that I own and I run, but I've just been introduced into the space just about 4 or 5 years ago, and I've become very passionate about it. I've met a lot of industry players and I'm learning so much. I'm really enjoying the space. How do you make it in this type of business? Because it does, well, it's starting to get saturated, but other people refuse to say it's getting saturated. I guess it depends on how you get to differentiate yourself in the industry. The discussion tonight continues. We've got Alex Granger. He's a professional speaker who's got a special interest in people development and leadership, as well as Sarah Arnot, a leadership coach who joins us all the way from our Cape Town studios. Welcome to the show, ladies and gents.
Thank you very much.
Sarah, how are you?
Thank you.
Great stuff.
I'm great, thank you.
My mom taught me to always open doors for ladies, buy flowers, and ladies come first. I'm gonna start with you. What exactly is life coaching? Because other people feel I'm gonna pay you to tell me what I know about myself. What do you do?
So, first of all, I'm more of an executive coach than a life coach. So I help executives to be successful, to achieve their dreams, to become better leaders, to become better managers. And coaching does that by helping you, by becoming your thinking partner, by helping you to improve your thinking processes around what you're doing and why you're doing it, and by helping you to guide yourself and become a self-learner.
And I've found, in my class, some of the things that I've been learning, they're saying you sometimes not necessarily tell them what to do, but you ask them the right questions.
That's exactly right. It's a great example. You absolutely don't tell them what to do, in fact. Great coaches have great insightful questions. And what that does is it helps you to remove the assumptions that you might be making. We all make assumptions. There's a lot of research on how easy it is for our brains to travel down the familiar routes that we've always traveled down, and how hard it can be to change that thinking and to move away from the assumptions that we have. So that's one of the many things, in fact, that executive coaches can do. They can help you to identify the assumptions that might be limiting your performance, limiting your ability to change, limiting your ability to transform and maybe define bigger and better dreams and then achieve those dreams.
That's interesting. I mean, is there money in the industry, Alex?
There must be money in the industry, otherwise we wouldn't be in it.
You wouldn't be dressed so nice.
Well, look at yourself.
I wouldn't be getting into it if there wasn't money.
Yeah, but I think if you're chasing the money alone, you've lost the calling.
Yeah.
I really believe that my focus is mostly on speaking as opposed to coaching, and I think my passion is about purpose, helping people find their purpose, and also just shifting people's thinking so that their behavior is aligned with that purpose.
Yeah.
And I think if you really follow that purpose and that direction, the money is not the problem. The money might actually struggle to keep up with you.
And I hear there's different types of speakers. Other people don't like being referred to as motivational speakers.
True.
Other people say, no, I'm an inspirational speaker, not a motivational speaker. The difference?
I suppose it's just motivational speaker has really been run down over the years. But I think I'm trying to bring back the sexy in motivational speaker.
Yeah.
Because think about it. If you want to move people, whether you're speaking on leadership or sales or customer service or anything business oriented, there has to be a level of motivation. There has to be a level of inspiration.
Yeah.
You have to try and move people. And how do you move people? You've got to get them excited about something. That is motivation. The fact that it's been run down maybe in the past by speakers who just made us energized for a couple of days and then we got back to what we were doing, maybe that's the problem. But I think there's definitely a big space for motivation in the current space.
Now, all the way from our Cape Town studios, I see Sarah is nodding. Clearly there is a relationship between speaking and coaching. Sarah?
Yeah, the relationship between speaking and coaching is a close one. And I was listening closely to what you were saying about motivation. When you are coaching senior executives, you're often talking to them about how they motivate their teams, how they get their teams aligned around a common purpose. And we talk about the Harvard Business School article, Small Wins, which looks at how it's small successes in a team that can take the team forward and keep them motivated. So as a leader, you need to empower them to allow them to win and have a success, and then you need to recognize the success. And you need to check in on them, but not be checking up on them. So it's about paying them attention, communicating, sharing the purpose and spending the time with them, but allowing them to have the wins and recognizing those wins. That's highly motivating for teams.
And how do you go about doing this? Do you get to visit them at their companies and find out their operations and they tell you some of the problems they're experiencing, or how do you go about doing this?
I quite like to talk about the things they want to achieve rather than the problems they're experiencing. And it's very interesting that you raise that, because coaching is often seen as fixing problems.
Yes.
And sometimes people do have barriers to their future success that we need to talk about and work on. I'm not denying that for a moment. But great coaching is about helping people redefine their dreams, understand what they can achieve, what's stopping them from getting there, and then really working on those things. So it's understanding who you are, what's your potential, how can we help you realize your potential. And we bring a lot of tools to the toolkit. And you mentioned one of the most important, which is asking great questions.
Yeah.
So that people start to think and start to engage their clever thinking mind around their own development.
What makes a great speaker, Alex?
What makes a great speaker? I think, besides being very energetic, I'm sure you've seen morbid speakers who get on stage, got great content, but they just fail to deliver it. For me, a great speaker must be one who can communicate and engage with an audience. Gone are the days where in the past, you're a speaker, you're on stage, it's one-way communication. The future of speaking and the current state of speaking is such that you have to engage with an audience.
Yeah.
The audience becomes part of the presentation. So there has to have a lot of interaction, so you actually begin to deal with issues that you have to deal with, whether it's leadership or sales. And so I would say a great speaker is one who has a knack for identifying the ability to engage with people, because then you start moving people, as opposed to just simply coming to share a message and just speak about a particular topic, and then you're done with your day and off you go to another conference.
And you also do leadership coaching. Interesting.
I do a bit of leadership coaching. A lot of my space is really leadership speaking, but I do enjoy the leadership coaching because my passion is around excellence. And excellence, if you know, John Maxwell said, a leader is one who knows the way, who shows the way, and who goes the way. And that for me really speaks about how do you communicate success? Is it so clear in the leader's mind that it does energize and excite and inspire those that you are leading to follow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to my guest in studio, where we continue with our theme. We're talking all things not really only motivational, but inspirational speaking and coaching. And coming back to, or going straight to our Cape Town studios with Sarah on the line on satellite over there. Do I get educated to be in your space? How did you qualify to be dealing with all these high-level people that you coach?
That's a great question, because you must get qualified. One of the things that is a concern in the profession is people who come into coaching without getting some kind of qualification. So you do need to get accreditation to be a coach. All of the major business schools offer coaching courses, diplomas, and degrees in coaching. And when you're coaching, you are messing with people's heads, and you need to have an understanding of what that means and the consequences of not doing it well. And you also need to understand when people need coaching and when they might need therapy and when you should be guiding them towards a different direction because you aren't qualified to help them in this moment. So that's important.
Have you had some of, or maybe just at the top of your mind right now, majority of your clients, you find that you've got more male clients than female, or is it similar?
I have both. I tend to work in senior levels in business, and so I do have quite a lot. To be honest with you, I have both. I'm passionate about helping women. I really enjoy working with senior business leaders, and I also work with people of really every single race that exists in this country, and a few non-South Africans as well. So I really work across. My speciality is leadership, so I work across all the boundaries where anybody who is a leader can come to me.
That's beautiful stuff. And some of the success stories?
Yeah, that's the whole point, isn't it? That's the real question. And one of the reasons I am a coach is because of the success stories. Working with somebody who's finding themselves in a difficult position at work and helping them to realize that if they learn to manage themselves and if they learn to handle situations, in other words, it's not what happens to you, it's how you handle it that counts. can be transformational for some people. And then for other people, it might be that they've stepped up into a big leadership role, and now what's got them to that point isn't what's going to take them forward. So you start working on helping them to map the relationships that they need to have, to helping them to understand how they might need to flex, to handle different relationships in different ways. Some of these key elements of the leadership mix, and that can have a huge impact on people's careers. And sometimes they stop the coaching for a while, and then they come back a year or two later and they say, you know what, I want more. It's had such a great long-term effect that I want to start working with you again, which is obviously really rewarding.
It's beautiful. As we're about to let you go, we'll continue the discussion in studio with Alex. I would like to know, how do people get in touch with some of your work or just find out about the work that you do? If maybe they're watching right now and they'd like to browse on your website, or how do we get in touch with you?
www.sa for Sarah Arnot, performance.coza. That's probably the best way to get hold of me because everything is on there. So it's www.saperformance.coza.
Thank you very much, ma'am, and may God bless you with your wonderful work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Lovely stuff. Alex, I'm going to ask you the same question, second last question I asked you. Results.
Results. Now, let me tell you, the work that I do is phenomenal. And I think really that's one thing that validates a lot of speakers, is to see the actual change. So I've done a lot of work with a lot of the large blue chip companies, and it's really great when you get an email or a text message to say, you know what, we made convention, we're going to Europe on 7 days. If it wasn't for your interventions, this wouldn't be. It surpasses the money you get from having done that gig, because you really feel you've contributed to the transformation of an organization. I'm an entrepreneur now, I'm watching, and I'm doing very well in my business. I'd love to share. I'd love to get into this speaking thing. Yeah. What advice do you give me? The advice is, you've got to start somewhere. And Toastmasters is a great place to start, just to master your craft. And I think mastering your craft in any industry, whether you want to be a speaker or an MD or whatever you want to be, is important, mastering your craft. So to speak, collaboration is key. Join Toastmasters. Join the PSA, become a member, an associate member, attend some of these events, come to seminars, your leadership stuff. Go and listen to other people speak. Get a mentor, get a coach, someone who can help and guide you along the way. You cannot be an island and be successful in this business, unfortunately. And the thing is, once you're in it, you really become an island because you travel a lot and you're always at airports and you know what it's like. Yeah. You can be very lonely, and if you don't have a collaborative method around you where you can tap into people, because who motivates a motivational speaker? You have to have that kind of connection around you to keep you going. As I wrap it up before I let you go, how do we get in touch with you? Well, you can get in touch with me. My website's alexgranger.com. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Alex Granger. On Instagram, alex.granger. I must say I love your work. I'm inspired by your work from a distance. It's always beautiful to see brothers doing awesome things in the line of work that I'm passionate about. It's good that he's on the show. We are passionate about youth entrepreneurship on the show, and he's just been telling me about Happy Socks, and I'm going to recommend for him even a better brand, which is done locally by a very young man who's doing awesome things in South Africa. So he's going to stop wearing Happy Socks and he's going to start wearing skinny smooth socks.